Hi, all Agent here, and we are long overdue for another video, so we're going to play a Helipropter, as I call it. It is a hybrid copter and prop box. I haven't actually built a prop box of my own yet, but I have been building these Helipropters, as I call them, since the update came out. This is the fourth one I've built, the most refined version, most controllable. It actually can take towers fairly well. It's not great for it, but it can actually hover over and shoot down those connector strips, unlike some of the other prop drones that we're seeing. A lot of the actual prop drones that we're seeing are six-sided prop boxes, which it's basically a box with six props on it, one prop facing in each direction. I went a little bit of a different route on this and used four props for strafing and forward back motion and two of the highest tier rotor blades to get my lift. So I can't fly without my rotor blades, which is why I call it a Helipropter as opposed to a prop drone or prop box or a helicopter. It's a little bit of both. It can move without the rotor, but it really needs both rotors to actually fly. It uses a lot of full cubes for armor, so I get a pretty good hit point value overall out of it too. So we're going to fight an enemy team in this match that has got a good bit of anti-air, and then they've got three drones of their own. I think they're prop drones, but I didn't get the greatest look at them. I'm pretty sure that they're prop drones, but I'm not absolutely sure. I'll have to look at the video again. But for all intents and purposes, we are fighting drones with a type of drone that I have not actually seen yet in game. Everybody wants to use all props or props as their main source of movement, and they use rotors just for comm assist. Well, I have to have my rotors to fly, and that is the one weakness of the spot. If they get railed off, then I can't fly anymore. But the point of me building this was to engage enemy drones. It is a drone killer. It's a drone hunter. It is specifically built, purpose-built to engage drones just like this. And this is the very first match I've played with it, so I'm still kind of getting used to the handling and what it can and can't do, how much damage it can take, when I need to retreat, and all of that good stuff. So I want to move in here, and I want to stick close to the ground because it can kind of turn into a hover. I don't want this flak getting a hold of me. Flak still hurts. It doesn't matter what you're flying. Flak is going to chew you up once they start stacking damage. So you want to stay away from that. You want to get low, or you want to sneak up on them, and you want to shoot their flak cannons off before they get a hold of you with that damage stacking, because that is absolutely devastating. Flak is incredibly powerful, but it's only powerful if you stay in their line of sight long enough for them to start stacking that damage. Rails are also powerful, and to be quite honest, rails and lasers are the best anti-air that you're going to get in this game. Lock-on missile launchers and flak are kind of gimmicky. They make really large and easy to shoot off targets, especially for bots like this that have lasers and can, with pinpoint accuracy, target specific portions of your bot. So I highly suggest that you get off of the flak train, you get off the lock-on missile launcher train, and you practice aiming with lasers. Even at these fast-moving targets, you're going to be able to hit them, and you'll see later in the match some instances where the rails on my team just gut these things. They totally destroy these drones. One shot, I think, on a couple of them, once they get some overclock built, totally guts the inside of it. And they get their strength in evading those rails and the devastating damage that they can do. So once they're hit, that's that. And you see how quick he went down with me and a rail shooting at him. And that is also key. You're playing a team game, and I understand when people say, well, that's not balanced if two people have to shoot at it to beat it. And that's not necessarily what a lot of us mean when we say focus fire. When you focus fire, you're eliminating targets much quicker and much more effectively than, say, all 8 of you lined up and fought the other 8 players 1v1. Even if all 8 of your teammates were better and defeated those 8 players, you would do much better if everybody just shot at the same guy and then moved down the line. as opposed to everybody just playing their own little 1v1s. That's not how the game works. That's really not how any team-based game works. You're not playing a 1v1. If you want to see balance, go to the pit and play deathmatch where it's every man for themselves. You cannot say one build is OP in this game versus another build, because it's a team-oriented game. You're supposed to be working as a team, and if you're not and you're losing, then you should probably think about playing as a team. Now, I'm not saying that some things in this game aren't overpowered or imbalanced or whatever, but a lot of you are looking at it from the wrong perspective. These props, sure, they're probably a little too strong. You can see how quickly I can change direction, evade. I can scoot along the ground just like a hover. That renders flak completely ineffective. It's ineffective anyway, and the reason these builds exist is because flak has been so powerful. The players who want to fly can't fly anything else. They have to fly something that is ridiculously maneuverable. If we didn't have builds like this, flak would utterly dominate everything in the sky because it couldn't evade, and it probably couldn't. No counterplay would exist. They probably couldn't shoot the flak cannon off before massive amounts of damage were dealt. And you may shoot that flak cannon off, but they're still probably going to have lasers or some other form of damage to back them up, so you're not done with the fight at that point. And that's why these builds are existing. It's because all of the anti-air measures that were put into place to counter the old original drones, many would point back to Tesseracts and how they let those go unnerved and the weapons sucked to fight them with, like rails. They turned slowly. You couldn't even hit the things when they got close because your guns wouldn't even turn fast enough. A lot of people would go back and say, this is the point when Free Jam got stupid with the anti-air, and instead of nerfing the builds that they should have nerfed and changing the game mechanics and making all of the other movement parts good, instead they made these super powerful weapons that pretty much eliminated all traditional types of aircraft. You do still see people playing them, but they don't typically do very well, and that's because their countermeasures are so ridiculously strong. Like, I like to fly Copters, which is why I built a Helipropter, is because I'm not exactly partial to drones. I've been on the fence about them. I've actually been against them in the old days. The Tesseracts I speak of, I was totally against them back then because we didn't have the weapons that could even fight these things. We had a dead zone above our bots, so when they got directly above you, they could shoot you, but you couldn't shoot them. And there were so many bad game mechanics that I was against drones, but I'm not against them now. I am more for evening the odds. They might need some adjustments still on cube weights and things like that, and the responsiveness of certain parts and what they do. But what we need the most is for all of the parts to be equal in power and all of the parts to be equally fun to play with. Now, some guys who like drones will probably never enjoy tanks, and tanks actually aren't in a bad position right now. I'm just using them as an example. But each movement part has to be as effective in its role as the other. Right now, thrusters and these propeller blades are much more effective than, say, mech legs, than wheels. God, wheels are terrible right now. They're more effective than hovers. Hovers have a lot of problems that you have to spend a lot of CPU on to overcome. And just all of the parts in this game, being in an alpha stage for God knows how many years, okay, everybody knows how many years, about 4 years. It's a combination of many things, and we're in an alpha stage of this game, so it makes it difficult to balance. They're trying to balance it, but they're doing it in all the wrong places, and I expect a lot more to change in the future if they ever want to get serious about this game getting big, because it has a really good idea behind it. It's just being executed pretty poorly. They don't seem to understand that everything has to be equal and fun to play, and then the player's skill is what's going to have people win. And we're a lot closer to that today than we were this time last year or the year before, but it's still very far from perfect. So, see, I tried to make a Helipropter video of me fighting drones, and I wound up talking game balance. But it is what it is. I think I make a lot of good points in the video. We saw a lot of good gameplay. Our team had a lot of anti-air, which greatly helped me. You'll see my assists at the end. What I did was I focused on shooting them down, letting the teammates clean it up. Got a buttload of assists, not quite as many kills, but I did number 2 in damage. I guess one of the other guys was a flak bot or something, and we won that match. So hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.